Hello and welcome everyone back to another crochet and chat video where, as the name suggests, we crochet while we chat and we talk about obviously crochet things, yarn things, crafty things, and just whatever's going on in life in general. This week is my second video ever. I posted the first one last week and it did super well, so you all seem to really love it. So you don't need to tell me twice. Here we are again for a second video, and I've taken enough time from singing my Wicked songs to film this, and I'm excited for it. I actually let you all pick the topic that we're going to talk about on YouTube. I did a poll, and I think I did 3 options, and everyone picked for me to talk about my favorite things about crochet, so this could be a fun video. As you can see, I've set up for Christmas, so I thought it'd be nice to kind of sit with the tree behind me. It is kind of poking me in the back a little bit, but that's okay. Hopefully it's worth it for the aesthetics. But yeah, it's nice to have some Christmas stuff up. Usually I decorate a little bit earlier in the season. However, I remember last year feeling like I had to make Christmas decorations up for too long, which maybe I'm alone there, but I think I wanted to do it just a little bit later this year, which still, it's not even December, so it's not that late, but I think it just makes it a little bit more special because it's not here as long. Anyways, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're going to talk about my favorite things about crochet, and we're going to crochet a little bit together. I'm actually working on this little winter hat, just a very simple half double crochet in the back loop. I'm sure lots of you have made this style of hat. It's the easiest one to do and just doesn't require any concentration or anything, so that's why it's great. And I'm using, let me show you actually. I am using cotton yarn from Hobie. Obviously, if you know me, you know that I love my cotton yarn from Hobie. And I'm using the color, if I can see it here, 91, which I have noticed they change their color. They don't put the names on it, they just put the number. And I noticed those numbers sometimes change, so it's a little bit confusing. I don't know the name of this specific blue, but it is a very pretty one, I can tell you that. Anyway, so we're just gonna make a little winter hat while we chat. The name is gonna stick, I think. Crochet and chat. It's simple. I'm sure other people will have crochet and chats. Nobody seemed to have any other better suggestions really, so I'm fine with that for the time being. We'll just call it our little crochet and chat. And I'm excited to do this. I'm gonna hopefully make it a weekly series. We'll see how things go. The vlog will always be like a weekly thing. However, this, if it keeps doing well, will probably also be a weekly thing. So let's see how it goes. But without further ado, let's get into our topic today. So my favorite things about crochet, which these are in no specific order. I literally just wrote down a bunch of things I could think of, 6 things that just came to the top of my mind, and I'm just gonna list them off and talk about them at random. And who knows, we might talk about other things. Yeah, and that actually brings me to my next point. If you are new here to this style of video, I really try not to edit anything, so awkward pauses or me fumbling over my words are probably going to happen, and they're going to be left in, most likely. We'll see. I do edit a little bit, but I want to edit as little as possible. So, and I also want to make sure, I hate when my nose ring is crooked in these videos. At the end of the video, I see that my nose ring is completely crooked, and I'm like, well, that's fine, whatever. Okay, so let's get started with our little chat here. So the first thing I wrote down, which is because I'm doing it right now, is the ability to make people gifts, which I think is a really special, unique thing to do for someone. Gift giving, if you're like me, can be pretty hard to figure out what to get someone, especially these days when everyone has access to things like Amazon and can get whatever they want next day. So it makes getting gifts that are special a little bit more difficult. And when you crochet and you know someone, a loved one or a friend, and you know them well enough to know their favorite colors or what they like to wear, or in some cases if they like plushies or stuff like I do in amigurumi, then you can make them something really special that they may have never gotten in their life before. And I'm currently struggling on a stitch. This is the real stuff I'm talking about leaving in here. Let me just get through this. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so making a gift for someone is really special. And I used to do this a lot more, especially when I was first starting out. A lot of the stuff I did was actually all gifts because I was learning and I was excited to share this kind of unique thing with people that I loved and people around me. There is kind of a caveat to this, which I'll talk about in a second. But overall, I think it's just a really cool way to make something special that isn't just like a gift card or something, which I get it. I do too. I do it as well, where you just buy a gift card or a bottle of wine or whatever, and you just need to bring something or gift something, and I get it. But there is something really cool, like I said, about making something tailored for someone. Now, like I was saying, there is kind of the caveat where you don't want to make a gift. Not everyone wants a hand knitted cashmere sweater that they have to hand wash and they might not appreciate it. Even little crochet things, if someone's not super appreciative of it, which is fine. Not everyone has to love crochet or knitting, but it does take a lot of time. That is the thing about these handmade crafts, is they do take a lot of time. So if someone maybe doesn't really care enough or doesn't appreciate it, it might be something to consider about maybe making it for someone who will, and that's not a bad thing. That's just, what is your time worth? Like I said, when I was learning, I was just excited to make things for everyone. And I think in general, everyone I gifted stuff to was really appreciative of that. But I have heard from a lot of you or other people online that they've made like gifts for people and they were just not excited about it and stuff. And again, I'm not like blaming those people either. They're just not into crochet or knit or handmade things. They just don't appreciate it as much, which is totally fine. So anyways, that is the first number one thing I love, or not number one thing, the first thing that I'm talking about. Again, these are not in really any order, and I just think it's really special. So yeah, gift giving. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee real quick because it is early in the morning. Okay, my next thing is something kind of unique to amigurumi more, but it actually applies to all crochet, and that is bringing your ideas to life. There's something so magical about having just an idea for something in your head and being able to just make it out of yarn. Crochet is kind of like being your own 3D printer in a weird kind of way, where you can really crochet almost anything if you just apply yourself to it and learn how to form the stitches and make the shapes. I've seen people making just the coolest things that 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago or more, you never would have seen that kind of stuff being made, and people are just like, it's so cool to see. Like there's that one guy, I can't remember his name, I'll put it here maybe, unless I can remember it. I don't think so, but he makes like the really cool like weapons and stuff and armor, and he has like little videos where he like is like attacking people. It's like comedy, but things like that are just so cool to see as like a crochet thing. You never would have seen that before, and it's just such an inventive way. There's so many more examples of this. Amigurumi is obviously the special one for me, where as a designer and artist, someone who used to draw a lot, I still do draw, I used to paint, and I have all these ideas in my head. And something about learning how to make amigurumi and like bring that into like a 3-dimensional space as an actual character feels so cool, and just like makes it feel so much more real. And it's so amazing to share that with other people as well. And I love that whole process. I think it's really one of the things that makes me love crochet the most, is just being able to be, I'll talk more about being creative, but bringing these ideas to life in a way that drawing or painting just can't, which no shade to anyone who draws or paints. I love those as well, but it just feels a little bit different to me. I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, that's why it's another one of my favorite things. And I think we're going to talk about the next one, which kind of ties into that a little bit, which is like being a creative release. For a lot of people, I think everyone's creative in their own way. I think sometimes when we think of creativity, we focus too much on like literal, like drawing or art. But I think everyone expresses their creativity in different ways, whether it's through food, like baking or making your family a meal, or, just decorating the home, or whatever it is, whatever you're into, woodworking or gardening. It's all creative, really, at the end of the day. I think humans are just creative people, and everyone has their own way of expressing that. And this is one of the main ways for me. Like I said, used to draw and paint a lot. And now that I have this, I still draw. I haven't painted in years, but this has really been my creative fix, besides maybe some video games, for a long time now, since pretty much I started. And I couldn't be happier with that. I love, like I said, again, the amigurumi has just totally captivated for me anyways. And a lot of you might feel that way about knitting, like your favorite sweater, or coming up with a new pattern design, or finding a new pattern designer that you love, and just making it your own with colors and stuff. You know what I mean? It's just so cool, and it feels so good to be creative in that kind of way. And at the end, you have something that you're so super proud of. Hopefully, anyways. Sometimes it doesn't always work that way. I think with amigurumi, thankfully, it's not as strenuous and long as like a knitting project would be. I couldn't imagine finishing a knitting project and like hating it. I think that would just be so I don't know, catastrophic. But I don't know, knitters, let me know, has that ever happened to you? How do you feel about that? But yeah, it's just a great creative release. Even if you're just doing simple things like a hat, it just, something about it, even this color, looking at this blue, it makes me so happy. And knowing I'm making it for someone I love makes me even happier. So it all ties in together at the end. So yeah, that is another reasons why I love crochet, or another reason why I love crochet. And I keep looking out the window because I'm hoping that the sun will come out. It has been so gray and gloomy here that a little bit of sunshine would not go amiss, hopefully. I'm gonna take another sip of coffee with me. What are you all drinking today? It's early in the morning, so this is my second cup of coffee. And it's delicious. I recently started grinding my own coffee beans, which seemed a little pretentious at first. However, I'm definitely set on doing that from now on because it tastes so much better. I think I was using the wrong grind before. I'm not like a coffee connoisseur, but I'm definitely enjoying this. And I do mine in like a Chemex, which is a little drip. I think they call it drip coffee. And I'm really enjoying it. So anyways, let me know what you're drinking in the comments below. But let's continue on to our next point, which is actually to do with all of you, and that is the community. There is such an amazing community on all social media, online and in person as well. There are so many people that I have met that I never would have met before if it wasn't for crochet, and so many amazing people. And I find that the people that I'm meeting have other hobbies and other things and interests similar to mine, not just crochet. I don't know if that's because crochet is tied in sometimes to the other things I like plants and video games and just being at home. So yeah, anyways, like I said, on YouTube, there's a huge community here. You've all been so supportive of me since day one. Like I said, that first video I put out on YouTube was only supposed to get a couple views. And everyone gave me, I think it has over 12,000 views. So there's so much love and support. And even though a lot of those people have moved on to other things, because in the beginning, like I said before, it's all new and not everyone gets to know me yet. But a lot of you have been here since the beginning. So I do thank you all, old and new, for being here and for being so supportive and loving. And of course, it's not just about that. It's also, you go out to the coffee shop, you see someone crocheting and you can instantly bond over them with something. If you have crochet too, pull it out, you give that look to each other and instantly it's like you've met a friend, even though you've never met them before. And you can just talk for hours about yarns and different things like that. And it's just so special. So I'm so happy that the community is just so great. I mean, obviously every community has its issues and there are some problematic areas, but for the most part, I think we are a community of people who are passionate and loving and just want to have fun. I don't think there's a lot of mean-spirited people in the crochet community. I know there are some. I know. I hear you give me the side eye. But we're not going to talk about them. It's not important because we're all killing it over here. And yeah, I just love that. It's so cool. And I can't wait to keep growing with all of you and meeting even more of you. One day I would love to go to one of these festivals. I know that like as an amigurumi designer, it's not really a thing they do at festivals. I think there are some people there, but really it's more for knitting, crocheting clothes and blankets and stuff and all those cool things. But I would still love to go regardless because I do that too as well, just not as much. And I think it would just be a really neat way to meet a lot of you. So let me know. I think we should do maybe an amigurumi one. I think it would be much smaller. It'd probably have to be done, I don't know if Canada, Ontario is big enough for... Well, there are quite a few, so it might work. I don't know. Anyways, I'm rambling. So yes, that is my next point, was community, and thank you again for being here. So the next one, and this is tying into me not editing this. You can see the wheels of my head turning sometimes. So I apologize for that, but hopefully that makes it feel more authentic. I just don't want to, one, start saying a bunch, because as my husband says, I say that way too much in my videos sometimes, which I think I've gotten a lot better at. And then just rambling to talk about nothing or saying the same thing, which I also do. But not today. We're going to focus on the next thing, which is a big thing for a lot of people, and that is that it is a form of therapy. If you struggle, a lot of people who have gone through like tough times have actually picked up, now before I get too far, I'm on this tricky last stitch again where it likes to hide away on me. So let me just, doesn't help that I'm holding it and it's pulling. Okay, we're through. Okay, back. Crochet is therapy, usually. It is just a great way to kind of unwind or relax and focus on something a little bit more mindless. For the most part, depends what you're working on. Sometimes it could be a little bit more frustrating, but if you're working on something really simple and easy, it could be just a great way to decompress after a long day. Or I've heard of people talking about they're in the hospital with a loved one and they're just spending days there and they don't know what to do with their hands or their time, and they pick up something like crochet or knitting and it just completely changes their ability to stay long waits and long times at the hospital with their loved ones. And then once things get better, hopefully they continue with this craft because they found out that they actually love it, and it's just such a magical thing. It's also a therapy for a lot of people. I've heard people with ADHD sometimes really do well with crochet because it helps their kind of focus. They can focus more on one thing as opposed to thinking of a billion different things. Obviously, I don't have ADHD. This is just from what I heard from other people. And I'm sure there are a million different, cases and things that people are saying it didn't work for me. But in general, I think that it's just a great way to relax after a long day. And like I said, just kind of unwind, no pun intended, and just enjoy something that you don't have to worry about all the crazy things going on in the world. Especially the last couple of years, and currently all this craziness going on. It's just a nice, relaxing thing that hopefully lets you, drift away from some of the world problems, watch a TV show or a movie and a podcast, and just kind of enjoy your time crocheting. So yeah, it is a therapy. And for me specifically, I think it's just, I like to, like I said, be creative and sit down and just pick my favorite yarn or a project, and if I've had a bad day or something, I can just sit down and really listen to music is a big one for me. I like to listen to my music and just crochet and maybe think about things that have gone on in the day and just relax. And that way, that's how it's therapy to me. So yeah, that was my next point. And then moving on to the next one, I think we talked about creative release. We talked about being a gifts community. So the last one is something I think we could all relate to, and I wanted to add it in here, even though maybe it's a little bit, I don't want to say controversial, but that is, of course, yarn shopping, which is, there's something very special about going to your favorite yarn shops and seeing what's new in stock and looking at all the different yarn colors and just having a great time at the yarn shop, talking to other crafters, which ties into community again. And it's always good when there's a little bit of a sale on so you can save some money, especially these days. And yeah, there's just something really fun about that. Now, do we probably buy more yarn than we need to? More than likely, yes, if you're like me. However, I have been working on that. I've been really trying to use up my stash. But I think there's just something so cool about thinking about potential projects and what you could use certain yarns for, even if it's not right away and it's down the line. And I did hear someone, I think it was Teal Yarncraft's mom, who was saying she has a yarn stash, but she loves that because she can also gift that to other people one day. If they come in and they're interested in learning, she has some stuff to share with them, which is a really cool thing too. I've sent some stuff to my nieces who have picked up crochet and to some other people who have thought about it, my sister-in-law. And it's just a really nice way to have some excess there, and you can share this gift with other people, give them a little crochet hook, because we also have way too many crochet hooks, and just share the craft that we love so much with other people. But I don't know how that ties into yarn shopping. It does. It makes sense to me. I'm trying to what's the word? Justify my yarn shopping by making it sound like a good thing, which I think it is. But, again, we could always pull it back a little bit. But those are my 6 top things, I guess, that I love the most about crochet. I'm sure there are a lot more that I've not thought about that will come up after. However, hopefully that is enough to get the ball rolling. We can continue this conversation down in the comments. You can let me know what your favorite crochet things are about crochet or knitting, honestly, or any yarn craft. I'm interested to hear what you're all working on while you're watching these videos. Again, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I can't believe how well this series has done. I know it's just the first one, but I think it's already at 6,000 views and a lot of new faces, which is great. So thank you so much for being here and welcome. I guess I should have said that at the beginning. And my Patreon's been doing really well too. So if you're interested in joining Patreon, if you are an amigurumi or someone who makes amigurumi, I post new patterns there all the time for my patrons, and you get access to shop discounts and all these different things. things. As much as I enjoy making these videos, they're obviously not free to make, and they do take time. So Patreon allows me to continue being creative and sharing all these things with all of you, while also being able to pay my bills. So anyone who's part of the Patreon, I really appreciate you. You allow me to keep doing what I'm doing. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this crochet and chat. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Stay naughty, friends. Bye.